Hi folks, this is Greg with Best Choice Trailers. Today I'm going to take you for a walk around the new DLB series dump trailer from Ironbull. This is a low profile series dump, and when I say low, some would refer to it as a super low profile dump. We'll get to that in a few minutes. As you see, this particular unit here, it's a 14-foot, 14,000 pound. It's also offered with 8K axle upgrades or with triple 7Ks on a 16-foot length. Shown here is the most common 14-foot length. It's also offered in 12, 14, and 16 foot, offered in a bumper pull as shown and a gooseneck model. These trailers are going to weigh in empty somewhere in the neighborhood of about 4,300 pounds and go up and down as the length increases. Everything you see here is standard equipment except for the optional spare tire mount shown on the side and the undermount ramps, as ramps are pretty well mandatory for most customers on this trailer. We option it onto all of ours. Let's take a walk around the trailer, show you all the features that come with it. So up front, we've got a 6-hole adjustable coupler. It is a cast coupler, not the cheaper stamp style. It is 6-hole, gives you a lot of adjustment. Also, they do a nice heavy-duty coupler style setup with an integrated chain holder. Standard 7K jack. It's a drop leg. If you've never used one, you'd simply pull the pin. The inner leg is going to come to the ground, and then the outer sleeve would get adjustment via the handle. With these, you've never got to carry around blocks of wood and other tools to get the coupler off the truck. A 6-inch, 12-foot-pound tongue is standard. I'll show you more on that in a second. A little detail we like on Ironbulls, I like their T-handles better than the old-school paddle locks you traditionally see in the industry. Interstate Deep Cycle Marine Battery, Group 24, standard equipment. KTI hydraulic pump, power up, power down. It's got an integrated 110-volt battery charger. There you see the inside. Outside would simply plug into house current, 110-volt electric. A couple other details we like would be the gas shock that's standard. Surprisingly, many toolbox lids are not secured. Some don't have anything, some would have a prop. Some of them fall open, you gotta be careful. This one's got a gas shock, nice little detail. One thing people overestimate is the 110-volt charger. Some people seem to think that this runs direct off your truck, which it does not. Your 7-pin plug on your truck does have an accessory line, so you're going to get about a 3.7 amp hour charge straight from your truck. This is a 140 amp hour battery, basically meaning it's 140 amp hours. So if you've got a 3.7 amp hour line charging off your truck, you'd have to drive around for about 30 hours to fully charge a discharged battery. The 110-volt chargers likewise are about a 1.5 to 5 amp hour charge depending on the charger. They're designed for an over-the-weekend type charge, not an overnight type charge. So if you do happen to buy one of these, or any dump trailer for that matter, make sure you keep that in mind. So one thing they do standard on these, it's a nice feature you don't always see, would be a tarp kit. It does have a ball bearing setup with a grease zerd on it. Also has a sail bar, which is basically a fancy name for a rod that would go side to side on a dump. Allows a guy with one hand to take it back to the back of the trailer and deploy the tarp easily. Going down the side of the trailer, they've got an integrated body stiffener. Integrated body stiffeners we see on some trailers, but not near all the trailers in the industry. Gives a ton of strength to the side. What you've got is a press broke side panel that is a lot stronger than a vertical body stiffener, or some don't have any. Now, a couple nice things about how they do these panels. First of all, it's a 2-foot side, not a shorter 20-inch. But then it's one piece all the way from the top of the wall to the center of the floor. So again, one piece for that whole panel. There's only one seam right down the center. If you're familiar with dump trailers, you ever seen an older one that had rot growing where the floor met the sidewall? Generally, that's because there's a panel, 1, 2, or 3 panels, and then the other sidewall. On this one here, you've only got one center seam. Reason for that would be your water tends to lay in your corners, your dissimilar metals between your sides, your floor, and your bead of weld. That's where you're generally going to get your rust. So it's kind of smart having that center seam. 4 D-rings in the corners. Got a heavy-duty corner post there where everything comes together. They also put the J-hooks going down the side of the trailer to hook onto your grommets of your tarp kit. There's your optional spare tire mount. Notice they gusset played out the 6-inch, 12-foot-pound I-beam tongue. 6-inch tube bed frame. If you've looked around much yet while you're shopping for these dumps, a lot of times you'll see a 3-inch, sometimes a 4-inch tube bed frame. Sometimes you'll see some angle iron on your lighter duty ones. This is a 6-inch tube on the bed frame. So basically your bed is going to sit on the frame, and then your cross members will run side to side within that. You've got a fender gusset. Some will call it a side step. For liability reasons, generally they'll call it a fender gusset, but your foot fits nicely on the side step there. Double broke fender. Notice that is tread plate. 2 brakes instead of 1. Sometimes you'll see them with 1 broke. It's a little bit cheaper. This double broke makes it a little bit stronger. Dexter brand 7K axles. This has a 235 80R16 load range E 10-ply tire. It's got the newer Ford adjuster, or Dexter would call it the never adjust brake. And it's also got the Easy Lube hub. If you pull that black cap off the center of the axle, there'll be a grease zerk behind it. A homeowner with average skill and tools can service their own bearings on this style trailer. Also notice a slipper spring suspension. A lot of times on a 14K trailer you get a slipper spring. It's a little bit heavier duty setup than the eye-to-eye suspension type. Notice there's integrated stake pockets on this if you want to build your sidewalls up. It's got the skid steer prep package. So on this one they prep it for jack stands. If the customer wants those for additional peace of mind when loading equipment, we generally stock the drop legs for it. This has a 3-way gate. You'll notice the pin up top, which if you pull that pin there, set the gate chain, you'd simply be able to lay it down like a pickup truck. Inversely, on the other side, if you release the handle and set the chain, you can use it like a dump truck for a spreader. It'll hinge at the top. Most common way the average customer is going to use this trailer would be to release the cam bar lock in the middle, pull the gate around to the side, and use it as a barn door style. That would be the most common. Notice this has integrated Banjo eyes, something that you're generally not going to see on a dump trailer. Give you additional tie-down points. Again, this is a 2-foot side. As mentioned previous, this is a 10-gauge side and floor. A lot of times you'll see manufacturers going to go to a little bit lighter gauge side. Normally you see an 11 or a 12. Undermount ramps. Hook style is going to hook onto the back bar there. And then you've got your undermount lights. They do a little bit wider ramp than most in the industry. You also notice little details like there are grease zerks on those hinges. This would be what we consider one of our heavier weight dumps, if not the heaviest dump that we carry. I've ran the numbers on a 14-foot dump, and I'll show you here the way they build this. There's about 250 to 280 more pounds of empty bed weight to this trailer than most of what we carry. This is a 20-foot remote cord, far enough to reach up to the cab of your truck. As mentioned, it is power up, power down. So a couple things I want to show you while we put this up. This is not only an I-beam tongue, but this is not a unibody frame like a lot in the industry do. That's a stacked tongue mainframe combo. I want to also take a shot of this. That 6-inch tube bed frame is going to nestle past the I-beam mainframe. That's part of what makes this a neat trailer. So a couple things. Most of your low pro dumps in the market get pretty low, and that's nice if you're loading equipment a lot, but the downside of most of these low pro dumps that you're going to see in the industry are they use drop axles, and we'll show you what I mean in a second. Standard equipment on this is a 5/16 scissor. You go up to a 16-footer or triple axle, you're going to jump up to a 520 scissor, which will get a little more stroke and a little bit more weight rating. So as I was mentioning earlier, with the 6-inch 12-foot-pound tongue, the 6-inch 12-foot-pound mainframe, and the 6-inch tube bed frame, which is between 9 and 10 foot-pound, got about 820 pound of frame there collectively. One of the common trends in the market right now is to use a 8-inch 10-foot-pound unibody frame that runs front to back. The downside to that style design is you've got a weak spot right in this area, right between about the halfway point between your coupler and your axles. On a stacked frame like this, in your most important area of the trailer, you still got coverage right in here. It's also got the heavier bed frame I was talking about. This is a very heavy-duty, rugged dump, certainly spec'd out for commercial users. Beyond all that, they've got the gusseting and whatnot there. So again, that's a stacked 6-inch 12 foot-pound. On the scissor, a couple things we'll take a look at. It's a 5/16 scissor, very commonly used in the industry. One thing, it's a little different. This has a tube support on the scissor mechanism, not a piece of angle or channel or piece of formed. It's also a sealed wire harness running back the frame. Grease zerts, about a half dozen or more on the scissor mechanism. One of the bigger differences you're going to find between Ironbull and most in the marketplace are going to be these bed sills or bed runners. It's a very neat design. They've been doing this now for about 3 years. When I first saw it, I'm like, oh, interesting setup. Very strong, ties together the bed runners, ties together the scissor hoist, gives you an integrated ramp mount. Very smart design. On this one, what's going to happen, the cross members on this, the few that there are going out, are going to be a 2x2 tube. So you're going to overlap 4 inches of your 6-inch bed frame down on this. Nice part is it gets you a very low dump, bed height, without sacrificing any axle height or clearance. What I mean by that is a lot of your low pro dumps are going to come out of the hub or out of the drum and drop down 4 inches, and you're going to lose 4 inches of ground clearance. So on this one, by nestling the frame, which is a bit more work, they're now able to use straight axles and still get you a pretty low dump height. So this might not be quite as low as some in the industry, but most folks using a dump trailer want that ground clearance. This is kind of the best of both worlds. So while this one's low to the ground, you still get the max clearance you can get. There's no sacrificing the ground clearance on this. So this can get about a 45-degree dump angle. All Ironbulls have Sherwin-Williams powder coat for the paint. Like I said, most everything that you see here is going to be standard. So if we price you a trailer, it's going to have your ramps on it. No gimmicks, ramps being extra or whatnot. Again, this comes in a handful of different configurations. We can do it in a gooseneck, or we can do it in different lengths. If you have any questions on this model, feel free to give us a ring, 717-220-4220, or visit us on the web at bestchoicetrailers.com.